Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're all doing excellent. That's right, we're finally back. If you didn't see what happened in the last video, we shipped off the Haltech to get diagnosed because we thought we had fried it, being irresponsible with the battery tie down, and we've corrected that. We also went through the Thanksgiving holiday, been starting a new job, blah blah blah, so I'm sorry for the absence recently, but exciting news. Down here I have the Haltech. So, in other good news, I sent it off and they said that it's not broken. So I suppose that's good news and bad news. This is where it puts us. They bench tested it and it came up with no problem, said it's working as it should be. After speaking with the reps on the phone, they said the symptoms that I sent them and that it exhibited sounded like a 5-volt reference grounding issue. So one of the 3-pin sensors that has a 5-volt reference, somewhere in there they think that is grounding out on any one of those sensors. Which means if that's true, I don't have to replace this expensive little guy right here. And all I have to do is double check my wiring. That is a challenge though, because as you guys who are watching the channel know, we've never wired up a car before like this, and it's all new to us. So, I mean, it makes sense that it could be a wiring problem. The diagnosis procedure of how to proceed is kind of simple. In practice, we're going to plug it in and keep unplugging 3-pin sensors with a 5-volt reference until we see there are no more errors showing up. So I'm going to go ahead and get this hooked in, and then we'll start that process and I'll show you how it goes. Things are a bit of a mess in here, and for good reason. I've been working on rerunning the wires so that it's not sticking out all crazy in the downtime since the Haltech's been gone. And once all the interior panels are on, it'll be much tidier now. I also ran it so that the Haltech just turns on when the ignition goes to 12 volts. So I just put the ignition in the on position. I got the power light on the unit here and the fuel pump primed, so that's good. Now we're connecting the ECU so we can look at all these crazy errors. And of course, now that I've got it back, there are no errors. There's some DTCs down here. Let's see what they say. All passed, but you can see all of them that I was having. That's interesting. So let's go ahead and I guess try and start it. I mean, when it was messing up before, the fan was turning on immediately because it didn't have a correct reading for the coolant temp. I have been, like I mentioned, correcting some wiring just from a tidiness standpoint, but nothing too technical. So, oh man. Anyway, let's give it a shot. Let's try and fire it up. Okay, so still getting wrong readings with the ignition on. So that's really weird. I have to figure out what is going on there. Okay, so as you can see here, no crazy light show on the Haltech. Let's see if I can explain to you. Let's see if I can explain to you why. So, I went through here and, as they suggested, unplugged flex fuel sensor, fuel pressure sensor, TPS sensor. Basically everything that has a 5-volt reference that I had some part in working on. I extended the flex fuel harness, I've uninstalled and reinstalled the fuel pressure sensor multiple times. I had to repin the throttle position sensor, which is the first wiring harness connection I ever pinned in. So those were highly suspect. I even disconnected the relay for the fan, which I'm going to reconnect right now before I forget. But I was kind of out of ideas. I was very discouraged. I was like, man, weeks and weeks, still waiting. And then I thought, oh, there's one more pressure sensor. I just unhooked the oil pressure sensor, and immediately all of it stopped. And I plugged it back in, and everything's fine. So obviously that means more testing. Letting the battery charge up, because I've had it on this whole time, and it's been draining a little bit. Have to figure that out too. But, I mean, that's good news. Found something. I found at least the culprit, but it's really strange. I don't know why that happened. So, yeah, gonna dig into this a little bit more, clean a few things up that I unplugged, and get back to you in a second. Okay, so I double checked everything. I even ran back through the wiring on the connection for the oil pressure sensor. There's not even any damage to the loom. There's no exposed wires. There's no exposed wires at the pin. All the pins are in correctly. So the only thing I can think of is that the way that the oil pressure sensor is mounted, the little, I guess, connection, the male side of the connection is facing up. And when I cleaned the engine bay, just sprayed it out with some water, soap and water prior to going to 7 stock, we got a weird fuel pressure error. It just was like saying it was like 1500 psi or something crazy. And we refilled the fuel tank, we cleaned the fuel filter, we double checked all the fittings, and it went away in the morning. And I didn't think those two things might be connected. In fact, I thought maybe the fuel pressure sensor was the problem. But I think now that I realize that if the Haltech is getting a bad ground or bad signal from any of the 5-volt references, they all seem to be connected in the ECU. So if you have the 5-volt reference error, all of your sensors are going to be saying they're wrong. You saw the error codes I showed you before. It said every single throttle position, everything was wrong. Saying that the intake air temperature is 240 degrees and coolant temperature, etc. So if the little weather sealing is not perfect on that, and it just got in there and caused a little bit of a problem, I don't know. So I blew it out with some air, cleaned it with some electric connection cleaner, and put it back in, made sure it has a nice connection, and seems to be good now. So let's try and fire it up again. Number's still stable. There we go. Except why don't I have a tachometer? Tachometer was disabled in Haltech. Let's try again. There we go. All right. In one sensor, but I guess this is a learning journey, as you guys know if you've been watching for a while, and I guess I couldn't have known, and it's better safe than sorry that I just sent it in. But yeah, she's running again, so that's awesome. So now big deal is that I can move her around again so that I can actually get access. Obviously you guys know we don't have a big huge shop. You see the garage. We try to do what we can in the space provided. And being able to move the car around easily to get on different accesses in the engine bay and in the interior is key. So, just a brief status update to let you know what to expect in the coming weeks. Let me show you the trunk, the hatch. This is all the interior parts. that were very dirty and need to be repainted. Started working on that. It started raining just around the holidays. Got busy at the holidays, friends in town, all that good stuff, and didn't get to work on that. So it's supposed to be sunny tomorrow. Hopefully going to bang that out. The interior, as I mentioned, a little bit in pieces around here, but all for a good cause, to fix the wiring so I can tuck all the Haltech goodies back up in there now that we know what's going on, and get the interior back together. Shortly after that, we do have some other goodies we want to show you. So we're going to have some suspension install, probably coming very soon. I'm going to take this car for actually a little bit of body work. I know I've done a lot of it myself on the channel, but there's some issues with the fitment of the hood that I can't fix myself. So we're going to send it off for that. And then hopefully some rollers of this thing driving and getting dyno tuned. So that is the plan for the coming weeks and months. Thank you guys for watching. As you know, we really appreciate it if you like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, when they ask you, tell them you want more.